which we already talked about, is just the common sense, practical application of the Bible
Yeah.
for business and life. I think that's one thing. I've been amazed at how God has shown me that His plan for health, marriage, relationships with your parents, business, all the things. It's kind of all the same, right?
Yeah.
Which is that's why it's Bible says seek first his kingdom and righteousness and all these other things be added to you, because what is required of us to be successful in any area of our life, the God-given principles, they apply across. Like that to me, I feel like has been one of the most amazing things that's been, I feel like, revealed to me. And I just want to shout it from the rooftops, right? So it's like, whether your biggest challenge right now is financial or health or relational, like your way out is going to be through like appropriate measurement, right? Like God, there's the Bible has a lot to say about scales. He wants accurate measurement, right? So like, accurately measure, where are you? Like, let's take stock of it. Let's vision what has not, like the Romans says that the God who brings life to the dead and calls things into being which were not, right? So we're to call things into being, that we're to line up with God's word in terms of obedience, that we're to look to the Lord, right? When things get bad in our life, we're just like Peter on the water. He's walking on the water. He's walking on the water, right? He was fine until he looked around. And we are too, right? Like we keep our eyes on God, and that's where we see the miracles that we are praying for, right? But where we fall and start drowning is when we start looking around at our circumstances. And so I feel like God revealing, like, just like my plan is my plan, salvation, marital, satisfaction and longevity, health, all of it, right? It's all laid out for us. And it's all the simple stuff that requires faith.
Wow. So it's got to be true somehow. But sometimes, like what you say, it's BS because you'd be like, listen, down here at the bottom of Mount Everest, as an ant, I know that this doesn't make sense. you know?
Well, and also it's like, I to give them, I guess, to be generous towards them, like um they it's hard to remember. And I will just as far as like, I chronicled my grief journey, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, and I did it deliberately because I was so like, once I pray at the month mark, the first month, I don't even know what I did, but like I'm like, I want to help other people with this, right? And if I look back, I'm going to clean it up in my own mind. Does that make sense? Like,
It
I'm going
does.
to clean that up, because when you're going through it, so sometimes I think these people are so distanced
Yes.
from what they did to get from point A to point B, because they're at point Z or point Y, right?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's just like the way our mind works. We clean stuff up, right? We
Yeah.
make it tidy. When success is a messy game. Success is cooked up in a messy kitchen. That's the truth. And that's the truth for everybody. But when I'm teaching it, you and me both, like when I'm teaching it, I'm trying to teach in a way that's orderly, right? Like I'm trying to teach in a way that makes sense. So some of the mess um, gets left out, so that when you and I are trying to follow that process and it gets messy, we think we're doing something wrong. No,
Yeah.
success is cooked up in a messy kitchen. But you want to make a lot of money, then just think, okay, would I do this to get a man, right? If
Yeah.
you would not, which rules out, hopefully, changing yourself, twisting yourself, chasing, following up. Did you like me, but you forgot to text me? You know what I'm saying? Tolerating being ignored and ghosted and wondering how you can get their attention again. All these things are ruled out, right?
Yeah.
All those business things are ruled out. They don't work for a man. They don't. I'm married. I love my husband. He's a public school teacher. Like we're completely together in this. But like, if you have to rely on anybody, like a man, a dad, a government, like whatever, to fund your own life, it's very difficult to be empowered. And entrepreneurship, I
Mm.
found, for women, is such a great vehicle. Like number one, if you've been in business for any amount of time, it's like a crash course in self development, right? Personal development. And but two, it's like it helps you clarify who you are, who you want to be to the market. It's just a great gift to women as we pursue financial success. We have to like have these other things that are at work in us as well. And also as women, we have so many different roles, right? My husband is an amazing husband, amazing father, now an amazing great grandfather. Like he's an amazing man. But women, we carry a lot more, right? Like we
Mhm.
don't just do for our mama, we do for their mama. We don't just do for our cousins, it's their right? Like we take care of the kids, we're the ones to, we do all the things, aging parents. And so I cannot imagine. And the truth is, like, I have not had a job since for 26 years, right? I cannot imagine being able to, um, be a parent and having to call in sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, so anyway, so my heart for women is what led me to this like vehicle of women in business. In the Bible, one thing I always think about with how we do business, whether it's like a strategy, platform or whatever, is David. When he went to deliver food to his brothers, they were on the battlefield, and this Goliath was like taunting them, and David's offended for himself, for his people, and for his God. And he's like, who's gonna fight this person? Right? Because like this is too much. He's taunting us, right? And the king is like getting into delusions, and he's like no help. And the men are afraid because he's definitely going to kill whoever he fights. And David's like, I'll do it. Like, I'm going to fight him. And so he goes in, and it's funny because in the Bible, King Saul is obviously a desperate man. And he's like, all right, well, give him the king's armor, right? The king's armor. This is like the best of the best. This is this is the best you could ever hope for. It's probably the safest. Think about like, car seats, like the cheap ones. This is the expensive. This is safe. Nobody's killing you in this armor. It's the king's armor. And the Bible doesn't say that David rejected it right out. He tried it on, and he said, I
Mhm.
can't. He said, I'm clumsy in it. Essentially, he's like, it doesn't fit me. I can't fight in this. And
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what a great testimony. Because, for us in
Are
business.
connected, and your platform is amazing. At first, it's so funny because when we first connected, I was like, okay, businesswoman, businesswoman. And then the further I went in, I was like, wow, okay, I'm really excited about this as far as looking at not just you as a businesswoman, but you as a sister in Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who I am at my core, right? Like I say for me, it's faith, and then family, and then finances, like the business, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I like to keep things in that order. And honestly, when we do, it's there's always like we always have our part to do, right? Like God blesses what we do,
Yes.
not what we think or what we plan, or say, but what we do. We got to give him something to bless. But at the same time, I feel like when we put things in the proper order, then
Mhm.
everything seems
Do
to
you
fall into place.
think with us today, as far as putting on the armor, is it um, wrong advice, or is it sometimes like trying to create confusion or gatekeeping as far as when it comes to information, as far as how people should run and start businesses today?
So, um, if I'm being totally honest, I do think there is some gatekeeping. I do think there is some willful wrong information, right?
Mm.
Meaning
Mhm.
it serves me and it doesn't serve you. And I know it doesn't serve you, but it serves me, so I'm going to do it, right? So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so that's one. There's the other version of that, which is I don't know it doesn't work because I'm so new in my own business and so green in my own business. But I think that selling business success is easier to sell than say weight loss success. I'm going to go this direction. And so I'm selling stuff that I believe works, but I'm so green. I don't know that I'm selling BS. Does that make sense? Like I don't know yet. It's just like um, a, a a person without children giving parenting advice. They believe it, and they just have no clue it doesn't work, right? Because they're not in the game. And so I do think there's that. But mostly I think it's not so much wrong advice, it's just not right for you,
Right.
right? So it's like you got to find something that fits you. And again, so like every business requires fuel, right? Just like our kids need to eat, our business, we have to fuel the engine of our business, right? We've got to put so that we can have income. So to me, it's like, make sure that that fuel fuels you. I'm not going to do something that drains me, because what if it succeeds in my business? Then I'm going to be drained all the time, right? So it's like, what fuels you? What kind of, I mean, I can build a business around anything, right? So like, if there's one lady who came, I used to have this event called, it was a 9-month program called Birthing an Empire.
Mm,
And it was meant to get to 6 figures in 6 months. And, anyway, like, and I'm like, give me a challenge. Like, what do you love to do? Like, what do you do when you are not getting paid? And you're going to do it whether you get paid or not. And she enjoyed wine on the deck with her husband, right? And I'm like, well, okay. That's an interesting one, right? But we created like a whole, but she served physicians, and physicians take home so much stress about running the office and the profitability of their office that they're unable to enjoy that time on the deck. So anyway, we built the whole thing, a newsletter, like her image, like her logo of her podcast became her and her husband on the back deck. Like, we actually built a brand around that so that she could share something that was so close to her heart, and turn it into a business. But it's like, but they want no part of waking up at 4 a.m., reading 3 newspapers, working in a garage for X number of years, taking on that level of risk with like debt. You see what I'm saying? Like, so
yes.
for me, it's like behavioral congruency will give you results congruency, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And
mhm.
so, but a lot of times we want the results and we're not willing to do the behaviors, and it's totally fine. Like, I remember one of my early clients, still a client for some of my larger events, but I remember I said, what are your goals? And she said, I want to be one of the first self-made female billionaires, right?
Oh,
And
wow.
at the time, I was at the helm of a $1 million a year company. And I was like, it was built not, I was wearing someone else's armor for sure. I walked away from that, rebuilt it my own way. But like, it was, and like, I like to tell the whole story. Like, the $1 million a year is 1.2. Like, it did not translate down to like my bank account. It was like the profit more, it was just the wrong business, but whatever. So I took home more money in other businesses, but still, like, reaching that 1.2 million, I was proud of it. But um she said something about billion, and I'm like, ooh, I was like, nah, I'm not willing. I'm personally not willing to do what it takes to reach a billion, because I know what it takes to reach 1.2. Like, for me, I like to work with like those nanopreneurs, those micropreneurs, right? Where it's like anything like 1.2, 2.4, like, you know, 3.3, all of those are kind of million. Like, those are the same when they break down to what the founder gets as like a $600,000 business, right? So, like, I want the simple, highest profit, highest profit like businesses, right? So it's fine to not be willing to do what they do.